Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh dan selamat pagi, selamat sejahtera kepada semua rakan-rakan. Terlebih dahulu terima kasih kepada saudara pengurusi majlis. Okey, terlebih dahulu saya ingin mengalu-alukan kedatangan semua rakan-rakan pensyarah yang sudi bersama-sama kami dalam program taklimat Open Educational Resources pada pagi ini. Sebagaimana semua sedia maklum, pada masa ini juga ada satu taklimat lain, iaitu berkenaan dengan grant ERGS, ya. So mereka dah sabotage kami punya program pagi ini, ya. Sepatutnya semalam taklimat ERGS malam, ya, and suddenly they change the date without checking, ya, today this program. So some of our friends are very interested to come. They send me email. They said, can you use your professor's power, ask them to change the date, ask the RCMO, Then I reply back, I said, professors has no power. Okay, this is a second briefing. Please allow me to present or to give this briefing in English because I noticed we have a few I think lecturers from or expatriate here. So for the benefits of all, I will present this in Malaysian English. I hope you can understand. Okay. So this is a second briefing on Open Educational Resources, or OER, the acronym or the short form, OER. The first one was last year, and it was attended by about 30, but this time it's much better. So thank you very much for your presence today. But I hope all of you are here on your own will, your own willingness, not because of the deans asked you to come for this briefing this morning. Anyway, so since we launched this OER project last year, we started, I think, first semester last year. We have managed to produce about 250 hours recording in the lecture hall as well as in the studio. And recently, during the Vice Chancellor's annual speech, we have launched officially this OER project. But we have yet to edit all those recorded lectures and make it available on our platform. Initially, we will make it available, as a closed resources for our students. But sooner or later, we will make it open, because the concept of OER is to make it accessible widely, globally, around the world. So that is the main essence, the main concept of open educational resources. We were very ambitious when we started. We aimed to produce around 800 hours of recordings. By the way, recordings of lectures is only one of the form of OER. There are many forms of OER, but we thought it's probably easiest to just capture the lecture, record the lecture in the lecture room, or we record it in the studio, and we edit and produce it in the form of video lectures. That's probably the easiest. But I will show you some examples later. Please stay until the end, because I will show you, and perhaps to entice you, the kind of OER that you can produce. And it's not that difficult, I can assure you. So the topic today is, we watched the video earlier, harnessing the open educational resources. So that's today I want to convince you, together we should harness OER, because there are many benefits that I will explain to you at different level. At the national level for Malaysia, at the organizational level for USM, and at individual level. So there are many incentives actually. There are many motivational pushing factors that I think would encourage or would motivate all of us to participate in this OER. By the way, our center is Center for Development of Academic Excellence, but now the name is become longer. We have to add advisory and development of students advisory and development. But we still maintain the short form CDAE because we worked very hard last year to promote this to our staff. CDAE, please register that in your mind. Okay, there are a lot of things that I want to cover this morning. So I hope all of you will bear with me because this is the only perhaps time that we can explain to you what is OER. But of course, I would strongly encourage you to explore after this session to learn more about OER. So I will talk about basically what is OER and how it has evolved. Actually, it's still very young, probably around 10 years since MIT, Massachusetts Institute of Technologies, launched their OER or OCW, Open Courseware initiative about 10 years ago. So it has evolved since then, and it has become and grow very, very big now. And benefits of OER, I think all of us are interested to learn what is there for me, if not for other things. Challenges and opportunities, examples of OER. I will show you some example here. The possibilities, the kind of things that we can produce, whether on our own or by using the assistance of our technical staff. And some tools to create content for OER. And some of these tools, you'll be surprised, are free. You don't need to spend even a cent to produce the tools. And the learning curve for some of these tools are actually very little. Meaning that you sit down in front of your computer, maybe you can figure out yourself even, or maybe if someone teach you, maybe about 5 minutes, you can start to produce your own things, up and running very easily. And some of the platforms. Platforms here means once you have produced or created your OER, where do you want to put it? So that it now can become accessible by your students or accessible globally around the world. So we will talk about some of the platforms. And finally, if you are not the creator, then you are a user, right? And currently, Malaysians are very good in terms of user, among the biggest downloaders. Yeah? Download everything that is there on the internet. But now I think we should start thinking about contributing back to the internet. So we want to become one of the biggest uploaders now rather than one of the biggest downloaders. If you are the user, if the students are the user, for example, or if we ourselves are the user, where do we want to find so-called OER? So these are the few things that I'm going to cover. Along the way, if you have any burning questions, please don't hesitate to raise your hand and interject anytime. Of course, towards the end, after Prof. Hanafi's presentation, we will have our Q&A. So we have plenty of time, but along the way, please don't feel free to ask any question. Yeah. At this point, any question? Okay. Okay. Now, our briefing this morning perhaps will cover only the essential things about OER, but perhaps you want to learn more. There are plenty of documents and reading materials available free in the form of e-book, PDF file, but perhaps I would want to point you to some of these documents to start with. OER 101, perhaps this one, a basic guide to open educational resources, published by COL, Commonwealth of Learning, and UNESCO, co-published by these two publishers. And after you have read this book, maybe you want to also read this one, Guidelines for OER in Higher Education. because OER actually is very broad. It can cover right from the kindergarten, primary, secondary, up to the higher education. In our context, maybe we are more interested to learn more about the higher education context. And if you are doing some, if you want to introduce this, if you are the administrator, or if you are involved in introducing OER in your workplace, in your organization, maybe you want to learn a bit about the OER policy. And this one is a thick book, very thick, about this, 1 inch. And you can download the whole PDF also. Maybe you want to read this later after you have started something, because here is actually a collection of best practices of OER providers around the world, and also at individual level. So if you want to see or learn how people do OER, this is a good book to read. And of course, there are plenty more. Yeah? I have a big collection of reading materials on OER in my computer, in my iPad. Yeah? Now, in the email that we sent you yesterday, not the day before, there's a link to that. In that email, more information. There's a big button there. You press that, click that, it will take you to this website. Yeah? And I don't know how many of you have seen this one. This is actually a very interactive, I call that interactive page. So you can click this link to learn more about OER. So this is actually a link to OER, a UNESCO website. This one is a link to another website. And this one, if you click, it will download, you will be able to download this book. The rest, you just type the full name and you Google the full name, then you can download the PDF file. Okay? Now, exercise. If you like, if you have the smartphone or your tablet here, you can Google now, open educational resources. Any guess how many hits you will get? In May last year, 84.3 million hits. This is a figure that I presented in the first briefing last year, and last night. Now, when you Google OER or Open Educational Resources, it's now 209 million hits. So what does this mean? What does it mean? It means that the OER movement is growing, but it's not only growing, it is exploding, basically. Yeah? Around the world now. And ask ourselves, where are we now in this OER movement? Are we part of this explosion of OER? Or maybe we are part of this, but as a user. But now we want to be part of this OER to contribute back to the pool of knowledge available, accessible by all on the internet. So ladies and gentlemen, what is OER? I think in the video, 2 videos that we showed just now, 3 videos, I think you probably have got a clear idea or rough idea about what OER is. What OER are, Open Educational Resources, usually in the plural form. So this is one of the definition. There are variation of definition. If you want to look at the standard definition, you can go to UNESCO website. There is now a standard definition agreed upon by the delegates in the OER Paris Declaration 2012 in June last year. Yeah? But this is one of the definition, general definition of OER. OER are educational materials, usually in digital form, but not limited to digital form. It can be also in the printed form, hard copy form, in other forms that are shared freely. That's a key word. Something that is shared. If you produce something and you don't share, then it doesn't qualify as OER. And openly for anyone to use under some type of license. Still, you can have some type of license, not the copyright license that we usually understand, but a different type of license. Then this material, the user can repurpose, they can remix, they can improve, they can redistribute. Sometimes OER is also known as 4R. Reuse, remix, repurpose, redistribute. So that probably, in a nutshell, of what OER is. And it's very much in line with the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, Article 26.1. Very accurate. Article 26.1, which states that everyone has the right to education. And the United Nations also has this education for all, right? The declaration in one of the, I think, conference in Bangladesh many years ago, education for all. But if you look at this spirit that for education for all, in the practical implementation, how do we actually reach learners around the world? We have been talking under Apex program to reach the bottom billion, to help the bottom billion, to educate the bottom billion. What is the best way to do this? The way I see it is through OER. And I will share with you some of personal story which I have experienced. I have yet to reach the bottom billion, but rather I have reached perhaps the upper users not in the bottom billion yet. Yeah. So in a nutshell, the essence of OER, we produce the educational material, but we don't keep it to ourselves. Now we make it available to share. So someone will be able to access that, maybe perhaps through perhaps the easiest through internet, but maybe some other ways. And the person will use it, and then the person can modify, repurpose to suit their needs. Perhaps they can improve the thing, the material. Then after the user repurpose and improve, we can redistribute again under the same license and share. So that basically encapsulates the spirit and the idea of OER. It's very simple. Now, a little bit of history about how this OER movement has evolved over the years, how it has evolved. It started in MIT. So MIT actually take the credit for this. We started with so-called open courseware, or OCW. The difference between OCW and OER, we can think of OCW as a subset of OER. So the whole course was recorded in the lecture room. Then each lecture is made available. So the whole course is available as a series of recorded video lectures. So that is open courseware. But you can also produce maybe 5 minutes of presentation using your computer and make it available. So that is technically, I think, the term that we use to describe that small kind of thing that we produce is called learning object, or LO. But it's not the whole stand-alone course. So you can produce one small thing, 5 minutes kind of presentation, or 5 minutes of PowerPoint, then make it available on the YouTube. So that is learning object. And learning object and open courseware, all of these things is called open educational resources. So MIT started with open courseware in early 2000 or 2001. Initially, actually, they planned to make money out of this. But when they look at the business model and so on, and suddenly they take 360-degree turn. Instead of offering the materials in the form of, to make money, to generate revenue, they decided to offer the course free. So if you go to MIT website, so this is the tagline, or the unlocking knowledge, empowering minds. Free lecture notes, exams, and videos from MIT. No registration required. So some of the best prominent professors, lecturers in MIT offering their course online. And you can go there, register for the course, follow the course, and if you want to take the exam, then you have to pay some nominal fee. So that's their business model. They can make money from the exam. And you get a certificate, not the whole degree. Certificate of maybe attendance. But that is probably adding value, that will add value to your, perhaps I have a basic degree in chemistry, then or chemical engineering, then I take a chemistry course from MIT and I can show in my CV, or I have a certificate of, say, a course on something from MIT. That will add value, okay? And I think it works very well. This is what Charles Vest, MIT president, said in 2001, 10 years ago, about 10 years ago. OCW looks counterintuitive in a market-driven world because you want to offer it free. But in the market-driven world, everything is money. You want to make money. It goes against the grain of current material values, but it really is consistent with what I believe is the best about MIT. It expresses our belief in the way education can be advanced by constantly widening access to information and by inspiring others to participate. So they took the lead to launch this OCW, began in 2001, and since then it has inspired more than 250 colleges, I think now more, and universities joined forces. So it started, then Harvard and Stanford and other universities in the US started to join this, join the bandwagon and start to offer their own courses free online. And the term OER was actually coined at the UNESCO. So UNESCO actually observed the development, the progress on OCW or MIT OCW, and they see that this has a huge potential to widening the access to knowledge by using this model. So they, in the conference in 2002, in the forum 2002, they introduced a term OER. Okay, so that's the history of OER. But you also find other terms that describe the same thing. Open content, open educational content, open courseware, open teaching. Okay? And since 2001, when they introduced this OCW or open courseware, MIT has evolved, the OCW of MIT evolved, and they join forces now with Harvard and Berkeley and form another entity called EDX. So you can get some of the best education without going physically to MIT, Berkeley, or Harvard. Well, you can follow some of the courses offered by these three Ivy League or institution free of charge. Take a look. take a look and maybe you want to experience yourself, register and follow the course. That's the best way to experience the quality of education, and you can claim that, oh, I'm also alumni of MIT, in a way, in a sense. This guy, his name is Professor Tran. He's one of the famous scientists. He invented this, what do you call it, driver, car without driver, a Google car, with Google. He's very top-notch scientist. He teach a course on artificial intelligence, AI, in Stanford. Yeah? So every semester maybe around 50, 60 students. But at one point, he and his co-lecturer decided to, when they look at MIT model, they said, okay, why don't we try? So they decided to offer the course online. Within a few weeks, 160 students around the world, 160,000 students registered for the course within a few weeks. And finally, I think about 40,000, 40,000 students took the exam. So it took him, Professor Tran, by surprise. He said, wow, amazing. He can scale up. He can reach more learners around the world now in a very simple way. He just record the lecture and make it available online. So he said to himself, if I just teach 50 students in Stanford, but now I can reach 160,000 students or more around the world, this will be good. This is good. So he was so impressed to the extent that he resigned from Stanford and formed his own company called Udacity, and still offering the course online free. But of course, since he's very well-known professors and from Stanford, not from USM, he managed to attract, big sponsors. So, millions to sponsor his startup, Udacity. You can Google Udacity, and in fact, you can register if you are interested to learn about artificial intelligence. Yeah? UNESCO has played a big role in promoting OER, because they can see this is something that we should promote, and we should encourage government and educational institutions around the world and academics, faculties, to take up this OER, because this is the way how we can share knowledge with people around the world. So UNESCO believes that universal access to high-quality education is key to the building of peace, sustainable social and economic development, and intercultural dialogue. OER provide a strategic opportunity to improve the quality of education, as well as facilitate policy dialogue, knowledge sharing, and capacity building. You can read more, and you can, if you go to UNESCO website, you can download a lot of documents related to OER, yeah, free of charge, of course. And UNESCO just celebrated the 10th anniversary of OER. Over 400 delegates attended the event, including two of us, Prof. Hanafi and myself. And in this event, they released the 2012 Paris OER Declaration. So this is in UNESCO. So we were lucky enough to go. We went to UNESCO to participate in this part of history making of OER, 2012 Paris OER Declaration. This declaration now will form a basis for government around the world to form their own OER policy. So all the issues, there are a lot of issues actually about OER. One of the big issues about copyright, and there are many other issues. So this declaration have addressed all the possible issues that can arise when we do OER. So we don't have to worry. In fact, whatever question that you will ask us later, maybe we can go back to the OER declaration and we can see ways to address those issues. This, us when we attended in UNESCO. So what is there in the OER declaration? I just read very quickly. To foster awareness and use of OER, facilitate enabling environments for use of ICT, reinforce the development of strategies and policies on OER, promote the understanding and use of open licensing frameworks, support capacity building for the sustainable development of quality learning materials, foster strategic alliances, encourage the development and adaptation of OER, encourage in variety of languages and cultural contexts, encourage research on OER, facilitate finding, retrieving, encourage the open licensing of education material. I was involved directly in formulating this declaration on the Asia level. I attended a forum in Bangkok to refine this declaration. In the forum in Bangkok, just before this Paris declaration, many countries in Asia region presented their OER initiative. And sadly, I sat in that conference. There was no presentation from Malaysia. In fact, there was no representative from our ministry to talk about OER Malaysia. But other countries, Thailand, Korea, Japan, Vietnam even, Philippines, and many countries, minus Malaysia, all of them have started their OER initiative. And some of them is quite far ahead of Malaysia. It's a bit disappointing in that sense. Because we have all the infrastructure, we have better facilities than Vietnam, for example, in terms of internet and so on, and yet we're not doing much, we're not doing anything even. So how is OER emerging around the world, and why now? Why now people talk about OER? If you are aware about the development and the progress in education, in higher education, you should have come across this OER thing. And why is it becoming so big now? Why is it becoming so hot now? Why now? There are a few factors. So if we understand the driving factors, what drives OER, then you will understand why OER now is very big and why we should be part of OER movement. There are social factors, technical factors, financial and legal factors. But one of the big things that drive OER is a change in philosophy. The change in the way that we think about the ownership of knowledge. Many years ago, I think many people, when they produce something, even lecture notes, even PowerPoint, they will keep to themselves. I remember when a new lecturer came back, they take over a course from their colleague, from someone, and try to ask some material from that lecturer. Very difficult to get. Because of the mentality, I have spent a lot of time in preparing, producing of this. Why should I just simply share? That sharing mentality many years ago maybe not very I would say prevalent. Yeah? But now there's a change in philosophy. We'll see. The internet, the power of internet to reach. So the world becomes small now because we can chat with someone in US now in real time, with video, everything. So how do we leverage on the internet, the power of internet? Alternative copyright licensing. Many years ago, we worry about everything is copyright. So when you want to use something, you have to get a permission, copyright permission. It used to be quite tedious, quite cumbersome to get a copyright permission. But now it's actually much easier online. Everything is online. But even that is still, that could be a stumbling block if we want to use materials from other people for our own use. But now there is an alternative licensing copyright model. It will, maybe I will elaborate a little bit more later. So the change in philosophy, to me, is probably the single most important thing that drives OER. And I think if we want to be part of this OER, we should also change the way we think about sharing. Learning is now open to all. If we want to realize the United Nations education for all, so I think we should also menghayati this one. Learning is open to all. This one I quote from Hewlett-Packard documents. Forgot to put the credit there. Knowledge as a collective social product. Learning is a social process, you know. We learn from each other, we teach each other, and the desirability of making it a social property. Knowledge created by community and go back to community. From community to community. From people to people. Learning is sharing, learning is caring. Sharing is caring, right? I think we hear that many times now. Sharing is caring. But do we, apa nak kata, menghayati? Embrace that. Embrace or really do that. Sharing is caring. So I think we look at education now. If we want to embark on this OER, we have to believe this. We have to have this kind of, we have to embrace the spirit of sharing. Because education is no longer only for the elite privileged few. Knowledge is no longer proprietary. Now knowledge is openly accessible and thus free. Open educational resources. Freely, openly shared. I like to look at this as spreading the wild seeds. Yeah? Spreading the knowledge. The change in philosophy actually very critical to start with the individual. Because the change at the bigger scale is actually driven by the change at the individual level. So the change in philosophy at the individual level perhaps will drive the change at the institutional level. Perhaps, hopefully, will have the impact at the global level. We are a small country, 27 million, but imagine what we can do with the knowledge, the indigenous knowledge that we have, if we can share, and a lot of advantages that we will derive from that. Another driving force for OER is, of course, the technology. The internet. Internet is also still quite young, just like OER. So OER, according to Hewlett Foundation, OER is based on the simple and powerful idea that the world's knowledge is a public good. And that technology in general and the WWW in particular provides an extraordinary opportunity for everyone to share, use, reuse the knowledge. And we know very well everything, we can learn anywhere, anytime, information at the fingertips. I always say this in some of my talk. Knowledge is just, information is just a click away. You just click, then you get the information. Or now, just a touch away. A tablet, you touch, you get the information. It's so easy, so near, so accessible. So now we have to think, how do we now get the information, get the knowledge, not only to our students, but to the world. To the world. Another driving force is actually the copyright. Now we don't have to worry so much about copyright because there are models that we can use, the copyright model that we can use to address the concern on the copyright. Many years ago, any material that produced, whether printed or digital, either they are copyrighted, they have copyright, or they are in public domain. Nothing in between. It's very clear. This is copyright, this is in public domain. But now, we have somewhere in between. some rights reserved. This is where we can play. We can have rooms to play with to address the concern on the copyright. Copyright is a sticky issue. I probably cannot answer all the questions on copyright in this briefing, but we plan to have one whole day workshop on just copyright, because that's the main concern. Every time we get this question, oh, I have pictures in my slides, I have pictures in my notes, I have this and that, so how do we, if I make it open now, would I get sued? And okay. But please do not worry, because there are ways to address all those concerns. And we plan to have national workshop on copyright. So please, when we announce this, I hope you will come. Yeah? This is a video, but I will skip this. And one of the copyright model that we have for OER is called Creative Commons License, or more commonly known as CC, Creative Commons. Okay? OER provides legal mechanism to ensure that authors of materials can retain acknowledgement of their work. Remember, the users can reuse, remix, repurpose, redistribute, but they will still have to acknowledge your ownership of your work, yeah? While allowing it to be shared. Can seek to restrict commercial activity if they wish, can aim to prevent people from adapting it if appropriate. So you still have your copyright. You still maintain or retain your copyright. So if you want to learn more, because we don't have much time to elaborate, you can go to this Creative Commons licenses. There are a lot of information there. You can, if you want to understand about Creative Commons. In fact, there are workshops on this Creative Commons and also about the copyright available in the form of recorded video, available on the YouTube and so on. You can just search for Creative Commons workshop. You can find a lot of recorded workshop on Creative Commons. It's self-learning basically. Yeah. Now, perhaps I think I have to talk about the advantages and benefits. This is the only way to convince people to sort of join this OER thing. What is there? Globally, well, we look at the biggest level first. We can advance knowledge by unlocking information for the benefit of all. You'll be surprised that if we share our indigenous knowledge. I want to tell you my own story. I teach a course on palm oil. One of the courses in our food science, food technology curriculum. And I make some of the lectures on palm oil processing available on, I record the lecture on my computer, because at that time we have not actually started to work together with PTPM, so I cannot record my actual lecture, but I record it in my room on the computer. So it's about 20 minutes lecture only, because you cannot have a video lecture more than 20 minutes. Nobody wants to listen to more than 20 minutes lecture. I make it available on YouTube. It was meant for my students. But to my surprise, a lot of people actually are interested on palm oil. And where all these people come from? When I check the Google Analytics, because you can check where the viewers come from, who are they, and so on. To my surprise, the largest number of viewers for my palm oil processing was from US. I don't know what was the motive behind that. And from some European countries. Yeah. And there's even more interesting story about these palm oil lectures that I will share with you later. So this is all about unlocking information for the benefit of all, provide open access to high quality educational content to educators and learners. Imagine that, some of these prominent professors from the top universities, they make their lectures available, they make their learning resources, teaching resources available. So these resources, these materials, not only useful for the students, but also useful for the lecturers, for those teaching the course. And they will now be able to see, oh, this is how my colleague in US cover the material for this course. This is how they approach the course. These are the kind of exercise that they give to the students. These are the kind of case studies they give to the students. So we can now see what our colleagues around the world teaching the same course doing. Before this, many, many years ago, everything is closed. Nobody knows what we teach in the classroom. I also say this in some of my talks. Our lecture room is just like a secret garden. Yeah? What we teach is between the lecturer and the students. Nobody outside the lecture room know about whether you are teaching the right thing, accurate facts. Nobody knows, not even the dean. So it's really a secret garden. But now, if you make your materials available, you get basically a free peer review. And you can see from what others are doing also, so that you can improve your own course. Provide a model demonstrating the value of openness, provide an opportunity to display various perspectives, not only Western perspective. What do you think from Malaysian perspective of a certain topic? Now you can share your own, you know. Institutionally, at USM level, how do we benefit? Increase institutional visibility, advancing competitiveness, attracting students and resources. To me, if I can summarize the benefit of OER, I think perhaps I would say visibility. If you want to make USM visible, I think OER is the easiest way to do it. But I cannot do it alone. Prof. Hanfi cannot do it alone. Prof. Wan Fauzi cannot do it alone. We need a mass, a critical mass. If all of us do OER, then now USM can be visible. Don't we want USM to be visible? For a good reason. Not for a wrong reason. Promote effective social responsiveness, improve learning experience by selecting materials in pedagogically sound and innovative ways. Improve recruitment by helping the right students find the right programs. I don't want to elaborate, but perhaps we can figure out how this OER can improve the recruitment, enhance teaching coherence across courses, ensure better long-term archiving, curation, and reuse of teaching materials. Curation is a new concept. I hope I can give one talk on curation as part of our seminar series. It's a beautiful, useful, powerful concept, not only for teachers or lecturers, but also for students. Curation is about adding value to information. Adding value. Archiving. Now, I start to record my lecture, now in the lecture room with the help of PTPM. I record my lecture on my computer. I started doing it for the past few years. Now I have accumulated a number of lectures already now available. So when I teach this course next time, I don't have to worry if I am IA, missing in action. Okay, tomorrow I have to cancel the lecture because I have to go to KL. But during that slot, I want you all to watch this 20 minutes lecture. When I come back in the next lecture, we will go through that lecture. Okay? Okay. So you can be missing, but your lecture is there to fill up the time. Actually, apart from visibility, actually it will make your life easier. Believe me, because I've been doing it. Make your life easier. But of course, it's not so much for us, it's for the students, right? Attract alumni as lifelong learners. Attract alumni as lifelong learners. Yeah, recently, our students that graduated for many years, they came across my lectures online. They said, wow, when I hear your voice, it reminds me like I just graduated yesterday. It's a true story, I'm not making it up. is this? It's a chocolate. Can you read the postcard? That's my name. Best thoughts from Geneva. Regards. This is one of the personal story that I want to share with you. This guy that sent me the chocolate, but by the way, the chocolate actually already melted when the tank when they sent it from Geneva. This guy actually consultant on palm oil industry in Geneva, in Europe in general. He came across my lecture on YouTube and he said, "Wow, thank you very much. Your lecture is very, very useful. There's not much information on palm oil in the internet. I would appreciate if you can put more on palm oil so that we can learn more. I've been using this for my consultation." But he didn't give me any commission, of course. And now I'm writing a book. I want to get your permission to use this video in my book. It could probably an e-book, I think, because you can embed the video inside. So I replied back. And then he said, "Have you received my the chocolate that I sent you? I hope it's not melted by the time when you receive the chocolate." True enough, it actually melted. But this is only one of the stories that how your stuff, your educational material can reach people, not necessarily students, but people who can use it for many different reasons or purposes. Individually, how you can benefit. Profile teaching as well as research. Now, teaching in USM now, you will hear more about the importance of teaching. Believe me, our VC now is very serious about teaching and learning. Okay? And we are in the process of to come up with an instrument to evaluate teaching. Yeah? Meaning that hopefully when this instrument ready, we can use this also as for the promotional purpose. Yeah? But as part of that instrument, actually, we have to develop the portfolio, the teaching portfolio. What do you want to show in the teaching portfolio? Everything, anything that you have developed over the years. If you have been teaching for 15 years and you put the things together, can you show that and the diversity of material that you have developed over the years? Or you just show the same PowerPoint, the same slides, the same even transparencies that you use year after year? Create record of teaching for teaching portfolio. Foster connection between other colleagues, departments, and even universities. Increase impact of teaching materials. Extend use of teaching materials to lifelong learners. I don't have time to elaborate this, but if you look at this and try to figure out, it really is doing OER can really benefit the individual. Apart from visibility, that's the best thing. Visibility. I am more visible now, not only to my students, but to other students around the world. Do you know that I have received hundreds of emails from students from around the world, US, Europe, lecturers from around the world, US, Europe, India, Canada, to thank me for the material that I have put up, and actually very beneficial for their learning. Challenges. Okay, I don't want to frighten you with challenges, but to be realistic. To be realistic, what are the possible challenges that we might face? These are the three main things. Maybe it start in the middle, copyright. The first thing perhaps that cross your mind is copyright. But I can assure you, please do not worry. There are ways to address that copyright issue. Yeah? I think USM also would not allow us to put out something that would risk or pose a risk to the university, come back, the university gets sued, everything. Sustainability. This word is overused, yeah? Sustainability. But in the context of OER, remember, OER is actually about resources, bahan, materials, content. But content is not the only thing. It's only the beginning of OER. We need a model. Once you have created something, then you have to think about quality. You have to think about how you want to share and other things, yeah? Use, distribution, and perhaps incentive. What's in it for me? I do all this OER thing, apart from other benefits, then down the line, is there any incentive? Well, incentive can come in many forms, but usually when people say incentive, usually the dollar sign, right? Well, all I can say, when MIT started this OCW, Open Courseware, they actually paid their lecturers, just an incentive to get them to participate. So we thought probably that would be a good way. So we also follow the same model. We pay the lecturers who participate in this OER. Like last year, I think we have paid about how much in total? Puluh ribu lah. Ya. Ikut rate. Kalau lecturers, 300 ringgit per hours, Prof. Hanafi will explain later. But of course, when you think about paying someone to do this thing, there are issues also. Okay? One is sustainability. How long can we pay when we get more lecturers to involve in this project? Can we pay? Now, our VC always count the dollar and cent. Can we continue to pay? We do not know. As long as the money still coming in, we are given the money, we will pay. Because to reach the point where this OER become a culture, so sometimes we need the pushing factor. What is the best way to push? Perhaps you will say academic motivation is not money. But at the end of the day, money is still good to have, right? So, what about quality? There's a lot of issues about quality. You don't want to simply put anything online because the quality might, give. If you put something that is bad quality, that will give a bad image to USM, right? So again, we have to also address the issue of quality. So these are some of the challenges. But don't let these challenges stop you from, embarking on this OER. Because, as I said, we are here, CDAE is here, PTPM and other partners in USM, we are here to help you. So you don't have to worry about the technicalities, you don't have to worry about the nitty-gritty and so on. Just like when you participate in the recording of the lecture, we tell the lecturers, you don't have to do anything. All you need to do is just give us a timetable. Then after that, forget about us. You just go to your lecture as you usually do. But of course, you will see the camera around you. Don't worry. Initially, maybe you feel a bit awkward, but maybe first lecture, right? Dr. Rama kan? Dr. Bala. Dr. Bala kata, he is one of our participants, one of our OER. In the OER project last year. He said in the first few lectures, maybe a bit awkward, of course. But after that, you forget about the cameras, everything. All right. So among the issues and challenges, lack of institutional support. But in USM, this is no issue. Vice Chancellor is the biggest supporters. Do you know when we announced this briefing, I was surprised to receive email from the VC. He said, please get the Timbalan Dekan Academic to nominate staff to come to your briefing. I was surprised. Oh. Then I replied back, oh yes, we are going to contact the dean to nominate a few of their staff to come. But last year, we did the same thing, but many deans did not respond. Then he replied back. He said, tell the deans to nominate, CC the letter to me, I will monitor myself. That's how interested he is in this OER. But again, to me, we don't want to do things because we are being pushed. That's not good. But we want to do things because we feel it's a good thing to do. At least that's how I work. Lack of technological tools for adapting resources. This is also no issue. We have provided all the tools in terms of the software. We have the computers to lend to you. We have laptops. We install all the software. And the school can borrow 2 or 3 computers so that their staff can borrow. So you can take the computer 1 week, 2 weeks, develop your things, return to the school, you know. So no excuses. We provide the computer, we provide the software. In fact, actually, we have bought licenses enough for each staff. We can give you 1 license each, but we don't want to do that just yet, because we want to give the license only for those who come for our training. Because no use if we give you 1 license and you don't know what to do with that, right? You don't see how you can make use of that, what kind of things that you can develop from that. So we have all this software. We have spent, I think, perhaps put together nearly 1 million or more. Can you imagine that? If you don't use it, then it's really, really wasted. Lack of user skill and time. Again, no issue. We can provide the training. We have been providing the training for many years. But you know, sadly, maybe about 20 staff register for our workshop. In the morning when we want to start the workshop, only maybe 7 or 8 turn up. So we have to cancel the whole Bengkel because it's not effective, cost effective or time effective. Lack of quality of resources. Again, if we have addressed all these issues, quality is no issue also. Personal issues. Personal issues is difficult thing, difficult part. Time and trust. I always get this question. How do you find time to do all this? I said, well, if you make a point, you can find time. That's the thing. So of course, I have my own way. All of us have our own way. But time, always we can find. Critical success factors. If OER really want to be, our USM OER to be successful, we need a policy, an enabling environment, understanding the benefit of OER, skill and support, and technical aspect. Opportunities. With the internet available, and good news is we are in the USM in the process of upgrading the internet facilities. I think we get 10 million to upgrade our bandwidth to 1 gig. So hopefully, still in the process, I understand, hopefully before June or earlier even, we can get that 1 gig so we can have access to YouTube, hopefully, and other things. I know the constraint now, always I get the question also, how do we want to do all these things? YouTube pun block. Then I said, yeah, I pun tak boleh buat sebab YouTube block. Yeah. But is there ways around it? Yes, there is. Yeah. Come to us, we will share. Always, yes, true. There's always ways around it. Yeah. To be resourceful. We always tell our students to be resourceful. I think we should also show that we can be resourceful as well. You know, the future of learning is mobile. Actually, it's not so much the future, it's now. So if we don't leverage, take advantage of this, then I think it's really another waste. Our students, perhaps, almost all of them have phones. Maybe 70%, 60% have smartphone. Maybe 10% have tablets even. And in future, the ownership of these mobile devices perhaps will be 100%. Do we just want to wait and see and let them use those for Facebook and Twitters? Proliferation of mobile devices. Yeah? So knowledge and information is just a touch away. Tools. Okay, this is an interesting part, tools. Give me the tools. Then I will do it. But there is also a phrase, remember? A fool with a tool is still a fool. I don't know who this phrase, where this phrase originated, yeah? But I read somewhere. A fool with a tool is still a fool. So we give you the tool, we train you to use the tool, then you can produce magic. Yeah? So use technology to produce digital learning resources. Some of these, like this one, yeah? Any motto, I think. Create stunning videos, slideshows, everything free, web-based. Yeah, web-based. But now, if you have iPad or other tablets, you can even create things on the iPad itself. We have a workshop on using iPad for teaching and personal productivity. Yeah, this is one of the workshops that we get good response. Yeah, but don't ask us, can you give us the iPad? I think you are asking too much. But actually, we did try. We did try to ask the university, is it possible to provide all our stuff with iPad? And they said, oh, you're asking too much. Use your grant. That's the answer. Use the grant. Actually, you can use your grant to buy iPad, so why not? Yeah. Okay, the tools. We thought the easiest way to have OER to start with, just to record the lecture. So we go to your lecture room, we capture your lecture. So this is what our friends from PTPM has been doing in the last semester. We record the lecture. But if you don't want to be recorded in your lecture hall, maybe we can do it in the studio setting, like this. This is Pro Hanafi. Yeah. Do you think easy to get PTPM people to come, hey, please record my lecture? So you don't have to worry about that. We take care of all these things. But we can also do it on our own laptop or desktop computers. You can create a podcast. You know, podcast is just an audio file. Have you listened to any podcasts on any subject? Yeah? There are plenty of them, thousands, millions of them on the internet. How to produce podcasts? Oh, so nowadays so easy again. If you have iPad or any tablet or even iPhone or smartphone, you have a recording features, right? So, hello everyone, today is a lecture on the blah, 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 blah. You produce 10 minutes audio podcast and make it available online. And the students can download it, put in their MP3 or in their phone again, then they can listen anywhere 24/7. Yeah, we have free software like Audacity that we teach in our workshop, free web-based tool. Yeah, you can use a desktop, laptop, tablet, and even an iPhone or smartphone can also be used to produce this. Screencast. You know what is screencast? Anything that you see on your screen, on your desktop, laptop, iPad, iPhone, you can capture. So this is actually the easiest way, which I've been doing, to produce recorded lecture on my computer, on my laptop, on my iPad. Nowadays I use iPad to record a 10 minutes, 15 minutes lecture while sitting, resting on my sofa. That easy. I'm not just saying this to show you that, oh, that easy. Yes, that easy. Yeah, it's true. Last time, it used to be very difficult. Actually, I have invested some money actually to buy the microphone. I spent 900 ringgit to buy a studio quality microphone yang boleh record lagu dalam studio tu. Because I want to produce the best. Because when I record using the normal microphone on the computer, you know, you have the hissing sound. But when you buy this 900 ringgit microphone, wow, quality very good. To that extent, who want to invest that kind of money? Pocket money, bukan grant. Yeah? Of course, they say because you are professors. But last time, I was no professor. But nowadays you don't need external microphone, you don't need webcam, you don't need this. You just need iPad, everything all in one. You can produce very easy. How? Come to our iPad course. Tools to create. There are free tools, plenty of them. But I will show you just a few. Screener, screencast, blah, blah. Free or on the tablet, you can have a free or very cheap, $1, $1 US, $2 US app you can buy. I use this a lot to produce lectures, recorded lectures on my iPad. Commercial software, of course. Some of you may be familiar with Camtasia. On the Mac, ScreenFlow. I'll show you one example of my recorded lecture on my Mac using ScreenFlow. You can see the quality that you can produce. It's a one-man show, basically. I do the recording, I do the script, I do the talking, I do the editing, everything. It's a one-man production house. This is a free tool. You can capture everything on your screen. You can capture your PowerPoint, you can start talking, everything free, maximum 5 minutes. And the quality is HD, high definition video. After you record, you can upload to YouTube directly. How easy. Screencast-O-Matic is another one. Education on iPad. This, TED-Ed. This is a very beautiful tool actually, but I don't have time to show details, but so really you can produce interactive lecture using these web-based tools. Okay, now, the best part. The best part to end this presentation is some examples. Now you can imagine, or maybe you will ask yourself, hey, can I produce that? The answer is big yes. You can do it on your own without any, well, after you have learned how to do it, of course. Since MIT started, so I want to show one example of the recorded lecture from MIT, from this guy. So if you have listened to my talk before, maybe you know the same thing. I'll just show a few seconds.
You count. Wow, my expectations are high. I want to hear you loud. You ready for this? Yeah.
Okay.
3.
There's one example of MIT lectures online. Yeah. This is from Khan Academy. Very famous. You just Google Khan Academy. I'm also a big fan of this guy. Not the person, but the voice. Because I wish I had this voice. Listen.
What I want to do in this video is talk a little bit about the kidney, and this is a big picture of a kidney, and to talk about how it operates at its, I guess you could call it its smallest functional level, and that's the nephrons. We're going to talk about the kidney, and the nephron. And I think you might already know the kidney. We have 2 of them. They're the organ that I guess is most famous for producing or allowing us to excrete waste. But part of that process, let me write, excrete waste.
Do you know you can produce something like this very easily on the iPad? I don't know about Samsung tablet, other tablets, Androids, because I'm not using Android, so unfortunately I cannot tell you whether you can find similar apps on Android-based tablet. But this iPad, I don't get any commission from Apple, don't worry. But this app, many apps on iPad which you can use to produce even better than that. This is the web-based program which I use. It's called Screencast-O-Matic. Hello, this is a special demonstration for this Learning Innovation talk. I'm going to demonstrate how to, I think that's probably enough. Because I don't like to hear my voice on the recorded. This one I produced using this app, which actually I bought for less than 10 ringgit. On the iPad. Hello everybody. This is a topic on food crystallization You have the
And
laser
in this
pointer
lecture,
there.
I will focus on, or I will discuss on the conditions required for crystallization. As you can see on the slide here, products like chocolate or margarine consist of fat crystals. Where do these crystals come from? So, for example, in the chocolate, is induced to produce the fat crystal which we extract from sugar cane or from the sugar beet.
So you can write, you can use a laser pointer, you can record the PowerPoint slide, everything. Very easy. Yeah,
it's a sugar solution.
I do this at home. So sometimes my wife kata to my children, don't disturb your father. He's talking to his iPad. Crazy, yeah? This is another example using web, again, free web-based tool. Oh, there's no video. This one on last semester, just recent, the semester 1 recently. Again, free. Everything that you see here using free tools.
Hello everybody. This presentation is part of lecture series in food emulsions and foams.
And
In this
available on
presentation,
YouTube.
we are going to look deeper into an emulsion and try to understand the characteristics of colloidal particles and their interactions, and forces involved in the interaction and the impact of the interaction on physicochemical and organoleptic properties of emulsion. Okay, before we start, let's review what we have learned from the previous lecture. Kathy, can you summarize important points from the previous lecture?
Yes, sure. We have learned that emulsion.
So you can have two characters there, the teacher and the student. How to do that? Come to our course. Yes, we teach this in our workshop using free tools. You don't have to bring anything. You don't have to install even anything on your computer. It's web-based tools. These are using the screen. This is using the commercial software on my Mac called ScreenFlow. I bought this for I think about 200 something ringgit. Original, eh? Kena tekankan tu. It's more elaborate. Yeah? You have the music there. The music also is non-copyright everything. Before we start this new lesson, let me revise. I think that's probably enough. But here, at this point, I want to share some interesting personal story. This video actually talk about halal gelatin. Gelatin is a big thing nowadays because you can find gelatin everywhere. Food, non-food, pharmaceutical product, cosmetic, everything. But one of the big issue about gelatin is halal. 99% gelatin supply is not halal, non-halal. Okay, so there's a lot of research now about how to produce halal gelatin or how to substitute, or we have to find substitute for halal gelatin. So this video, this lecture is actually about 20 minutes. It's about halal, halal gelatin alternative. And you know what? It's available on the internet and in some other video sharing site. One in the big industry, confectionery industry in US, saw this video. This company actually produced Mars bar and the other products. And all this confectionery actually contain gelatin, some of them. And they know, the halal industry around the world is billion US dollar business. So they want to capture that market. So of course now that's a big reason for them, motivation for them to find the replacement for gelatin so that they can claim their products contain halal gelatin. So when they came across this video, they were very interested. They thought, oh, I'm the expert on halal gelatin. Yeah, but is he really expert on halal or on gelatin? So they did some homework. They checked my research. They checked my website, my personal website, because I have a lot of information about my research, my teaching on my personal website. Then they check my research, they check my website, apart from looking at the video. Then they convinced that I am the right person for for them to learn more about this. So they sent me email. They invited me to an industrial conference. They will pay everything, plus the sightseeing everything, plus the honorarium everything. Just from this video. Interesting, right? Did I go? I didn't. Because of other reasons. What is this? This one is the same. To show you another variation.
Busier by the day, productivity is on the minds of many. But instead of downloading the latest time management app or forcing yourself to stay at work for hours on end, how can we use science to crack open the potential of our minds?
I'm sure you have seen now on TV some advertisement using this technique, right? Can you imagine this is actually a simulation of how we use whiteboard in the classroom? And now you can produce this kind of thing using certain technique. It's not that easy, but it can be done with some assistance. I wanted to do this for a long time, but I just don't have the capacity and the technical know-how. Yeah? Until recently, there's one app, unfortunately on the iPad, or fortunately, which allow me to do this kind of thing. So I'm now really very, very excited, but unfortunately again, time. I cannot find the time yet to produce something like this. But can you imagine the simulation of whiteboard interactively, not so much interactive, but it's quite, I think, lively, perhaps quite interesting, if you plan it well. Yeah? One possibility you can produce, and there are tools to allow us to do this. Another example.
Hi, I'm Dr. Kiki Sanford, and today on Food Science, we're going to show you what steak, coffee beans, caramel, and toast have in common. So what do steak?
This is one example of studio recording. That is our, hopefully one day, we can produce something like this. Currently, Prof. Hanafi will show later the type of studio recording that we do, which is not bad because we are just beginning. But hopefully this kind of very interesting, enlightening, and interesting lah, basically. 5 minutes only. Just talk about, in this case, one topic, Maillard reaction, if you know what it is, in food science. 5 minutes. That's what in education they call it chunk, right? To deliver knowledge in a chunk form. I think very, very effective. Especially if we have someone like Dr. Kiki, yeah, can deliver things very interestingly. I'm not saying about anything else, but can deliver the things very interestingly. Yeah? Another example. This is what we aim to achieve someday.
First, a quick message from Common Craft.
This one is quite simple.
This video comes in versions designed for use in training and education.
Actually, it's very simple to produce. They just use the cut out paper and so on. And even I saw some school project, primary school, had produced something like this. So maybe we can get our students also to produce a project using this form of presentation. And imagine 50 of our students produce something this semester, next semester, so it's accumulated and become OER.
Find them at Common Craft.
And yet another example. This is very high standard. We can dream to produce something like this, but one day. Actually, we plan to do at least one lecture this semester.
I'm a professor of theoretical physics at the City University of New York, and I specialize in something called string theory. I'm a physicist, and some people ask me the question, what has physics done for me lately? I mean, do I get better color television? Do I get better internet reception with physics? And the answer is yes. You see, physics is at the very foundation of matter and energy. We physicists invented the laser beam. We invented the transistor. We helped to create the...
Do you notice the white background? then the different shot, long shot, close shot of the speaker, then you have the information presented on that side. Everything is done. It's not easy to produce something like this, I understand, but it's not impossible. I have discussed with PTPM and they said maybe we can try one course this semester. Who want to offer? If not, I will offer myself to produce something like this. Technical assistance provided. If you don't take up that opportunity, that offer, really, I'm always here, but I want to give the opportunity to others. I'm always excited to try new things. Not sure. This one is an example of my students produce this. So the idea of this assignment, after we finish the topic, I wanted them to demonstrate the concept and the principle they learned in that topic using daily life example. So I asked them to produce in this form, so that even laymen, ordinary people can understand that very difficult technical concept that they learn in that topic. And this actually can become now a reference for others. Now, those are some examples, but what I show you just now are basically, the digital form or the recorded video and so on. But of course, don't forget about the other forms of OER. Now, assuming that you have produced all these things, where do you want to put it? Come the platform, okay? There are plenty. YouTube is there, but don't say because it's blocked now, it's going to be unblocked soon, yeah? Do you have your own channel on YouTube? If you don't have, create one. Yeah, it's free. This example of my channel on YouTube. All my lectures are here. You can find. Yeah. All I need to do at the beginning of the semester, I give the channel, the address to this channel to my students, and I told the students, actually most of the material for this whole semester is there. You can listen, from first lecture till the last lecture. Well, maybe not everything. I have maybe about 20% now. But basically, they can start to go through the lectures before they even come to the classroom. My channel, the same thing, but on another channel, on another site. In this case, Vimeo. I call it Karim's Learning Path. Udemy is another platform. Yeah. I don't have time. I have to just go through very quickly. So again, this my course also, but this one for public using iPad for personal productivity and teaching. And I use this platform to complement my workshop on iPad. So meaning that if the participant cannot follow everything during the workshop, they can go back and they can listen to every single thing that we covered in the workshop. The same thing again on another platform. So meaning that my stuff, my materials are available, accessible in many different places. The USM blog, the YouTube, don't worry, go to this site. Previously Vimeo, I put on Vimeo. USM realized that students also access Vimeo. They block Vimeo. My God. Don't worry, go to this site. When they block this one, I have to find another one. Slide share. How many of you, let's say, have used slide share? Have used. Please raise your hand. Please. I'm surprised. Almost shocked. Do you know that if you don't have time to prepare, let's say someone call you, can you give this presentation tomorrow? Tomorrow, I can give on that topic, but I don't have any slides to. I just go to SlideShare, type the topic. You can even download the whole slide if you want to allow the users to download. Or if not, when I go to the place to present, mesti ada internet, I just go to the internet and go to SlideShare, access the slides. I don't have to prepare anything. So if you have not used and seen SlideShare, you are missing a lot. AutoStream is another place where you can share your PowerPoint. Script, how many of you have used Script? Please raise your hand. Hi. I'm shocked again. You can use this to find any documents, but also if you have created a PDF document, you can also upload. Very quickly, where I can find, last kali Prof. Hanafi, where can I find OER? My favorite is this, iTunes U. Someone sent me email, lecturers from, siapa lupa nama dia, from somewhere, one of the school. Dia kata, why USM is not on iTunes U? You know what is iTunes U? This is where all the universities offering their courses free, they park their materials on iTunes U. Currently, I know how many hundreds of universities, majority from US and Europe, some from China, Korea, NONE, none from Malaysia yet. So the lecturer asked me in the email, when USM will be in iTunes U? So I told her, well, that is one of our agenda. Hopefully, one day we will make it to iTunes U. That is my promise. So I don't know whether the person is here. I've already given my promise. I have to deliver. But if you have not explored iTunes U, please, there's a wealth of knowledge there for students and lecturers. One of the best sites for OER is this. EDX, MIT, Harvard, Berkeley, Coursera, very popular. This is where you can register for the course, find OER, everything that you need for your course, for your students. Academic Earth, Khan Academy, Script, TED. I love TED because also, again, I can find, it's a wealth of knowledge here, TED, on various topics of interest. Udacity, Open Library, Connections, OER Africa, Merlot, Open University UK, Carnegie Mellon, UNESCO, University of the People, tuition-free university. Finally, so can we do it? Please, I want to hear a resounding yes. That's not very convincing. Yes, you can. So that's all. Any Q&A, we leave it after Prof. Hanafi's briefing. So thank you very much for your attention and to bear with me for almost 1.5 hours. Thank you very much. Over to Prof. Hanafi terus.
Okay, we hold a Q&A until the end of my presentation. Assalamualaikum, selamat pagi kawan-kawan, staff akademik semua. I'm not too sure whether I can present such an inspiring and stimulating presentation like Prof. Karim, and the PowerPoint slide is very stimulating. Okay, what I'm going to present this morning is with regard to the development of OER within USM. What are the process required? What are the steps after this? And so on, right? So not so much about the benefit, what is OER, which have been covered by Prof. Karim. Right, so I won't take very long, perhaps about 10 to 15 minutes to briefly describe to you the process flow of OER development within USM. So this has all been described by Prof. Karim. Basically, OER USM is necessary as far as APEC transformation plan is concerned. I'm sorry, I got sore throat, so you can see my voice up and down a little bit. If you see the APEC transformation, the black book, you can see in the canvas of nurturing and teaching, one of it is OCW for USM. So it is our role as far as CDA is concerned is to develop OER for USM. Okay, it's all the introduction about OER which had been covered by Prof. Karim. But this is just for record. We have begun developing OER at USM beginning first semester, last academic session. We have produced 19 courses where we have involved 12 lecturers. And in all, up to yesterday, we have produced up to 250 hours of lecture being recorded. So it's very commendable if we compare with MIT after 10 years of their OER. They have so far recorded or put online in total about 1,400 hours in USM. For only one semester, we have produced about 250 hours recorded. But we have not done anything yet to that because we need to do editing, we need to do subtitling and so on. And hopefully by the end of this semester, we can put some of them online. All right, okay, so as far as second semester is concerned, we hope to commence the recording during the first day of the next semester, which is on the 18th of February. Well, it's not very far away, doesn't it? We are now only, today 5th February, 6th February, so it's about 12 more days from now. Right, okay, what are the models as far as OER is concerned? It basically contains the easiest part of content development, which is just to record your video, just to record the presentation of your lecture in a video form. And then perhaps later on we will require you to give us the course synopsis, short notes, as well as other learning activities, right? And then there are two ways basically as far as we are concerned, as far as recording is concerned, i.e. we go to your lecture hall, there's a crew, then we record your entire lecture for the whole 50-minute lecture, and we follow from the beginning of the semester till the end of the semester. If you don't want that to happen, you can use the green room studio recording. So you go to studio and then there's a crew which you record your presentation. Or you can combine both, i.e. you can use half of it or 1/4 of it in the lecture hall and the rest in the studio recording. So we are quite flexible in terms of recording. Obviously there are the other third one where you can produce your own, which have been described by Prof. Karim. You can use your iPad, you can record yourself, your own in your room or in your house or while lying in the sofa, sitting on the sofa and so on. And you give it to us and then we can also put it up on the platform. All right, okay, these are the some of the pictures of recording which had been conducted last semester. So this is basically a live lecture recording in the lecture hall. This is a lecture hall. You can see this is a crew from PTPM that did the recording. Also here, this one, and this is studio. So we use Green Room Studio. We have one Green Room Studio at PPKT. We have crew there doing the recording. Here is the Green Studio at PTPM as well, which we do the recording. So you can use both, either live lecture hall recording or studio recording. Okay, this is the process flow. Basically, what we need to do now is to identify who are interested to do the recording. What are the courses? You give us your course code and your schedule, so we arrange for the crew to be in your lecture hall. So you don't have to do anything. Just present your lecture like you normally do, and then the crew will do the recording, right? That's what you need to do. And then after the recording, we will do the editing, and then we will upload to the platform, and then the PPKT will ensure that they will access to the public, including the publicity platform and maintenance. Okay, this is process flow. Our role here is to actually to identify the lecturer, which we have done this morning, and then you give us your course code and your schedule, then we send the crew there for recording. Or if you prefer studio recording, then you give us your date, and then we assign, we book the studio for you. Then after recording, we send it for editing. The recording, if you do it in the studio, there are two studios, one at PTPM, the other one is done by PRN, Pesawat Racun Negara. They have also crew, video crew, that do the recording at PPKT, second floor PPKT. So after this, we have to do the editing and then upload, and then we provide access to the public. Okay, these are our role to upload it. This is PPKT to ensure that there is a 24/7 access to the public. Okay, the course can be delivered either in Malay or in English, but we would not encourage you combine the two. If you deliver in Malay, then go ahead in Malay. If you do it in English, go ahead in English. But what we do, whether it is in Malay or English, there is subtitling. We're going to do the subtitling for you. So when the viewer view the video, there will be subtitles, just like in the MIT courseware. If you watch the MIT courseware, even though the presentation is in English, but there are also subtitles as well in English. All right, okay, the video recording will commence in your first class of your course, and then we'll follow your class till the end of your course. So basically, if one course, there are 42 hours, or about 42 hours, one course times 3 hours times 14 weeks, but normally about 30 something, 35, 37. So basically, we follow every class, every lectures that you're going to present. All right. So our role as far as the concerned is to actually identify who are the lecturer, what are the course code, and then your schedule, and then we call all you again to provide a short briefing, and then we issue you some kind of letters of saying that you have agreed to undertake this recording and so on. And then we arrange for the video recording where and when, so that the recording crew can be there on time for the recording. And then as far as CDE is concerned, we arrange to pay the honorarium to you. There's short monetary reward for those involved, not too much, but the rate. I'll show you the rate in a short while. Those are the rates that have been approved by the bursary. And then as far as our center is concerned, we'll take, as I mentioned earlier, a short synopsis, short notes, as well as other activities that we can also put it up on the top of the video itself. So in addition to the video, so the learners can also have some info about your course and some learning activity as well. So these are the rate that we pay. I'm sorry we cannot pay more than this. These are the rate approved by the bursary as far as the honorarium concerned. If you are within this grade, then the rate is about $150 per hour, and this is the amount approximate amount that you're going to receive at the end of the course. If you are in associate professors, senior professors, there's an amount. If you are professors, these are the amount that we're going to pay. So as far as like Prof. Kari mentioned just now, this payment honorarium is not going to be sustainable. I'm not too sure how far the USM is going to provide us the fund for this payment, but as far as next semester is concerned, the fund is available. As far as last semester is concerned, all the lecture we have successfully paid to them, right? They have received the payment, right? There are some few of them are here. I'm sure they got already the payment. But for next semester, I'm sure there's money is there, and then we make sure that you'll get the payment. So, okay, what's the role of PTPM? Basically, they prepare the crew for the recording, and then they prepare the recording equipment like videos, with cassettes, audio system, and so on. And then they give the crew as far as recording concerned. And then editing, this is, we still yet to do the editing, proper editing, as far as the previous audio concerned. We're going to discuss with PTPM the editing processes, but some of the video have been edited by PRN. Some of the video have also been edited by PTPM. These are something that we need to get it done as soon as possible. So, CDE will upload to the platform. The platform is still under development by PPKT. So we also upload all the short course synopsis, short note, and other learning activity. And then PPKT will take care as far as the access, as far as the platform is concerned, and access to the public. So we have various parties involved in this initiative. It's not easy, but we are doing our best to get everything worked out. Right. So as Professor Karim mentioned just now, apart from our own dedicated video OER at USM platform, we are also going to put up some of the videos for promo in YouTube, Vimeo, iTunes U, as well as USM channel, just for promo, but for the actual video, the whole video will be up in OER USM's platform. So PPKT will be responsible to ensure that the video can be accessed 24/7. So we are in the process of discussing, the PPKT are in the process of developing the platform. They should be ready, hopefully, for deployment by the end of this second semester. So publicity, we are also responsible as far as the publicity concerned. We need to blast the idea of OER to the campus, to all the people within USM, as well as to international level. So we have international agency and local national network. International, we have connection with Commonwealth of Learning Call based in Vancouver, Canada. So they agree to help us to promote our OER USM. Regionally, we have also talking to Universitas Indonesia for some kind of collaboration. Nationally, we are also talking to our IPTA counterpart through our regular council meeting. So these are the various cooperation that we have to ensure that our OER USM is known to various levels, nationally, regionally, as well as globally. So basically, if you were at the annual VC briefing on the 10th of January, the some of the crew which have been involved in the initial phase of the OER production and development, they are here and have the opportunity to have their picture recorded with the VC. So basically, it's already been launched by the VC. We can say this is the initial launch. We have not got the platform ready as yet, but we hope by end of the second semester we have get the platform ready, and it should be available to be accessed by the public. I think that's about all as far as I'm concerned, unless you have any more questions. Prof. Karim is here too to answer any of your questions. Thank you very much.